Saturday in the shed. Done all my domestics. I'm about to do a bit of a shed tidy up rebuild. Been putting, well, shed tidy up. Make the shed presentable, put everything away, get things done. A few jobs I want to tick off. Just been putting this motor out of a washing machine together. This will be used for a wind generation project, which is a project down the track. I haven't rewired it yet because that's a project down the track, but I've got other jobs that are going to get done. But somebody is going to say, will it actually generate electricity? Well, here we are. We've got the old multimeter set up here now. It is on the 200 volt AC scale. This is a AC unit. It's set up for those who are interested in three-phase star wound. We will be rearranging the elements because at the moment in a DC system we still want it to generate AC. It will be still a star system, but we want it to generate about 18 volts. And you're going to go, oh yeah, okay, what's it generating now? If I give this thing a spin, and I'm not going to spin it too much, and this is why we have to sort of like rewind it, just by me turning it by hand, it's generating about, I've had it up to 70. Hang on, I'm spinning this with the band, holding the camera with a good hand. Just me spinning it like that. We are generating on AC, sorry, everything's bouncing around. Yeah, 80 volts, I think it just peaked at. Let's put the meter in hold. No, it's not going to work. I'm going to say often you put the meter in hold mode and it'll hold the... Anyway, knock the meter over. There you go. I'm generating voltage. AC. I believe if I could spin it up, it would generate quite a bit into the lethal voltage range, but we don't want that much voltage. We want high voltage. We want high current, low voltage. I can probably measure it, see how much the current is. We'd have to put a load on it, which would be quite hard. But there we are generating AC. Quite a lot of AC. It's, if you didn't know what you're doing, lethal range that you could actually do some damage. We're not going to play around with much more. It was just putting it back together, assembling it and testing it. But yep, just me spinning it out. I can see why people love these for their homebrew wind turbine projects or water turbine projects, because this, yeah, I can see the potential. It's potentially lethal too if you're not careful. Anyway, I'll get out of here, move on to other projects. See you in the next. Now this is part 2 of the test. Don't try this at home, kiddies. If you don't know what you're doing, this could be dangerous. I've got a 12 volt LED hooked up as a load, because when you do current testing, you current test the current across the load. You've got to have a load on. So I've got the old multimeter set up on the 200 milliamp range AC. So there you go. No jiggery pokery. So it's 200 milliamps. For the sparky brains out there, we're off milliamps, sitting on the old multimeter. Now, when I spin this, and I'm only going to turn over by hand, we'll hopefully be generating a voltage and a current. We're going to measure the current, not the voltage. We did the voltage test. Now, because we're generating AC across a LED, the LED will flash, because LEDs need direct current. We're producing AC, generating AC. So, I'm going to stop this because the camera has to refocus. I think we're in focus. So I'm going to spin the wheel. Now, in theory, LED is going to flash. There it is. LED light is flashing. Meter's not connected. Okay, this is Mark here. I don't know what's going on. Got it all set up, but we're going to spin this wheel. LED is flashing. You test this off camera and you put the camera on, it doesn't work. The meter's once again not registering. We were measuring. Hang on. Scientists, once again. I don't know why. The meter's decided, I think it's dirty contacts. It's decided not to read the milliamp reading. I've got other meters, but I can't be bothered. Anyway, we could probably, the rate, I can smell it getting very hot. I could spin this so fast and generate so much voltage, I could probably blow up that LED. It's getting hot. Now once again, the flashing, I'll turn it slower. The flashing is because we are generating AC. And if you want to know how diodes work, yep, you'll understand why the light is flashing. I'm not going to go into the science lesson of all that, but yeah. But that LED is very bright because I'm pumping about 70-80 volts for a 12 volt LED for very short periods. I'm going to see if I can change. Should I change meters? I don't know, hang on. Well, it's got to be stuffed. I don't know why the meter. I think it's because I actually never use this meter around the place for current measurements. I've got other meters that are better. I'm not going to go grabbing out stuff for this sake, but just have a look at how little movement is required to generate that light. And if I put the drill, I'm not going to deliberately blow this up on purpose, but if I was give the drill on that, you would potentially blow that LED to bits. Anyway, that's the end of this experiment. I just wanted to quick theory, quick test of the motor to see if everything was. I do have to rewire the windings so we produce less voltage, more current. There's heaps of stuff online how to do that. Once again, don't do DIY, but I'll show you what we're doing. But yeah, we're planning to build a experimental wind turbine to generate some current out of the washing machine parts. And yeah, rather interesting so far. We could actually generate power with it like it is, but we would be generating it at we would be unable to use it apart from blowing up LEDs, I suppose, and other bits and bits. You could probably run a light bulb. I don't have any old incandescent light bulbs. You could put an old 240-volt house light bulb on that and spin it, and it would light it up. Yeah, very interesting. Anyway, out of your hair for now. I've got some more cleaning up, tidying up I want to do, but I just yeah, talk to you later. I do a lot of cleaning and tidying up because I like to get to like finish a project, client, put everything away, start on the next one. So I do that. But anyway, I'm just reassembling this old washing machine motor, putting all the parts I want to keep. I'll put it away till we start the wind turbine project. We've got some other stuff ahead of that first. So I'll talk to you later. Just to show that I am generating current, and I'm not joshing you, I just grabbed this quickly old meter. It'll show. I think the other meter I've got to clean the contacts, so I never use the current side. So this is set up to measure current in milliamps. Thing don't show, but you can see how I've got the meter set up. So we can see under the light. Now, I don't want to deliberately blow up this LED. I might have already done it. But as you can see, I'm turning the wheel quite slowly. We are generating a voltage source because that light is flashing. And that is in series across that LED. And that is measuring our current flow. Now, because I'm doing spodmatic, there is spodmatic up and down, but yeah. And you'll notice that the meter is moving backwards and forwards because that current is AC. So if you look carefully, the meter will go out and back because it is a AC voltage. And that is measuring the AC current, which is fluctuating up and down. And that is what I believe why my other meter was having a few issues with it. But there you go, on this old analog meter, we're measuring a rotating current. I wish I had the oscilloscope here, it'd be really fan set up. Anyway, yeah, that's all Mickey Duck science. If you know about AC and DC voltages and measuring current in series, not parallel, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's just to prove the theory that this thing, which actually is technically a washing machine motor, you then put potential energy as a rotation force into it. I'm trying to remember the proper theory and language. It generates electricity. Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, associated people. Welcome to this update from Dave in the Shed. Well, this week's episode of Dave in the Shed. Filming this on Monday morning. It's going to be one of those weeks. It's only Monday. Didn't have the best night because I do a lot of social media production for other people on a Sunday night. So you get all your new goodies Monday morning. But anyway, during the night, we've had a bit of a disaster. I've repaired the disaster, but I'll talk about that in a sec. A shelf fell out for no explicable reason except aging hardware and bits and pieces, but a shelf fell down in the kitchen. Boom, crashed during the night. Yeah, interesting. So I've done a repair. It's old shelf. Look, I love this kitchen. It's old. It has its quirks, but this kitchen, it would pain me to upgrade it because it is simply, Well, a couple of reasons. This is a 1960s built house. It's as close as you will get to a house built in town built by my grandfather. My grandfather was a commercial builder in Cowra. He did mostly works on farms, building farm sheds, farmhouses. In town, if you're in Cowra, the Wesley Hall, the new church hall, was built by my grandfather. The new manse, now the Uniting Church at the time of the Methodist Church, grandfather built the manse, or the rectory, whatever you call it there in the thing. But anyway, so grandfather did some work on this place, although it was built by a guy called Harvey Muir as an owner builder. I am only the second owner of this property. Harvey was a carpenter himself, although he was the actual fire brigade captain for many years. On the sideline, he was quite keen on carpentry, so this is a carpenter's house. This is amazing stuff. Look at some of the old videos on what he did around the place. I love this place. It's an amazing place. Anyway, yeah, so I've had to do a bit of, this is, like they say in engineering, there's nothing more permanent than a temporary fix. So I've had to do a temporary fix to the shelf to sort of like sustain it, so it's not going to go boom crash again until I can come up with something. So I've had to cut, yeah, do a timber space in there. These are one of the old brackets. I don't know why it failed, but just one of those things that, yeah, mysteries abound. So I've done a bit of a patch up. Very luckily, speaking about builders, that I've got access to quite a bit of timber that came out of Dad's shed. Dad was a builder as well as a teacher and other bits and pieces. And he had, oh, look, I'm a bit of a wood hoarder myself. I've got all these bits and pieces. So I've thought, yep, done it on. Look, I even confess I've used a panel saw and a miter box saw, old hand saws, just as easy and quick as well. I was going to say to keep with the style of the building. No, I'm just going to choose this quick and easy way. But anyway, so I fixed that up. But it's all like made for an interesting start to the week, so we'll see what happens. I've got some other projects I want to get on to this week that I was about to show you and talk about it, but I'll just document this first, because this is one of those things where you get a bit of DIY skill. You never know what's going to come your way, and yeah, just had the bits. So there we go. Kitchen itself went boom crash. Now all back in place, and yeah, this is an old style of engineered bracket to give a semi thing. But this is the attention to detail that Mr. Muir did in his house. The bottom of the shelves are lined to match the rest of the kitchen fit out. So this is over here. This is look at that. So all the cupboards and bits and pieces around the house have this amazing detail under them. Yeah, it's just the eye to detail is in this old kitchen. It is fantastic. It is. So the bottom of the shelves are all like that, but the bottom of the shelves is done in the same. Just no reason. Nobody will see it. Wednesday this week are going to be a dead Ross, so the only really days I'm going to pot around will probably be Thursday, Friday. That's why I try and commit to Friday to being the day I do me YouTube videos and my workshop videos about what I'm doing instead, and spend time in the shed. Tuesday I got meetings and bits and pieces all going on, and anyway, and Wednesday I've got appointments, and anyway, it's a bit of a loss this week. But anyway, just thought I'd show you this before I do it. This is the mighty ex-hospital bed adjustable table, which I can move and push around doing it. One of the features it's got is it's got an opening in here, and it's designed so you lift the piece in and out, and it's a cutting slot. So when I'm cutting timber and bits and pieces, I can clamp it down to the workbench, and I now have an opening to cut some material without damaging the bed and damaging the material and damaging the door. Going to use the mighty, I'm going to take my life into my old hand. This is an old GMC brand circular saw. It's old, but does the job. This is the thing. When you're just doing occasional these things, you don't need to go and buy the $5,000 or the $3,000 of a great tool. If you're using a tool occasionally, GMC now is mainly was a brand that I bought via Magnet Mart in Canberra, the Magnet Mart chain in Queanbeyan, equivalent to the Ozottos these days. Some of the Ozotto stuff it's actually, look, for the average backyard fella, if you're not building houses or that, it's okay. It's okay. I know I'm a Ryobi fanboy, but some of the Ozotto stuff I'm taken to. Taken to. Yeah, don't poo-poo the cheap tools. Check them out. What do they say? A good tradesman never blames his tools. Anyway, I'll stop ranting and raving and I'll get on with what I'm doing and I'll show you that soon. See how much we get done today. It's already afternoon o'clock. Daylight is burning, cicadas are singing, so let's get into it, Davo. Now I'm just freehanding these cuts. If I wanted a really, really good cut, spot on and accurate, I would get out the fence for the saw, line up the fence and do a nice, neat, straight cut. But in this case, no, I just want these 2 blocks of wood, which you'll see why I want them for later. Now, one trap for young players on this saw and some other saws, you've got to be careful. It's got the guide notch down here, but I'll try and get in so we can see it. This saw has 2 notches. Okay, if the thing focuses, one of them on the left-hand side, it says 45 degrees. The one on the side says 0. See the 2 notches? They're the notches you're meant to line up with your line and cut on. Now, before you do your cut, make sure you're aware, read the book, work out which notch you're using for your sighting notch, like on a gun, because it's very easy to tromp it down, zip through a piece of timber, and then realise you've got a centimetre difference in your cut because you've used the wrong sight line. So this one, that's a trap for young players. You make that a couple, 3 or 4, 10 times anyway till you get to it. So always make sure if it's got more than one sight line in your circular saw or your power tool, you're lining up on the 0 cut, not the 45 degree cut. Yeah, because you can see what happens. If I want to cut that there, and I cut it at the 45, my piece of timber's up to a centimetre shorter than what I want. Like they say, measure 400 times, cut 15. Well, if you're Dave, you measure once and... This filming stuff as I go could end up in disasters. Look at this. I don't normally do stuff like this, but I thought, well, why not? I've got that little Ryobi router. It's quick and easy. I'm working on this job. Let's do it a little bit properly. I've just cut a rebate, or a rabbit. What do they call it in America? I keep watching those American videos. A rabbit or... Anyway, I've just grabbed out the little router and, yeah, just done a quick rebate for me joint. Oh, Dave, this might be get too serious soon. Yeah. So you go out with a quick little. I'm not sponsored by Bunnings, I swear. I wouldn't mind being. Not sponsored by Ryobi. I do love their gear. I'm not sponsored by Ozotto. I've got to keep saying that. But anyway, look at that. Dave, this will ruin you, mate. Don't do stuff like that. One funny thing. Lots of funny things happen in my video. I grabbed this this little router. It comes with this nice little carry case. Pack it up. Grabbed it, brought it to the bench. Brought it to the wench. No, brought it to the bench, Dave. That's my CP messing up my language. I brought it to the bench and I went to tighten everything up and I thought, oh no, how could that happen? I've lost the spanners to this thing already. How can it happen? Sorry, Ryobi, I like your stuff, but I'm going to have to make a modification. Can you see the spanners in there? Can you see them? They're in there. Let's change the light. Yeah, black spanners, black bag, wrong light situation, can't see them. I'm going to go and do a mod to these spanners and I'll be back. Sorry, Mr. Ryobi. Now my spray booth is set up so I can paint stuff and let it dry safely. Not so much good for photography, but even though there's lights and bits and pieces, it's not showing very well on the camera. But I've brought those 2 tools into the paint booth and I've given them a quick spray with the good old good old lime green paint. They'll have to get a couple more coats, but sit in the spray booth for a bit. But yeah, oh, sorry, I just had to do that. That'll just improve things no end. Anyway, back into it. Got jobs to get done. This is interesting. This is one of the things, you start a job and then something else spurs out of it and something spurs out of it, and before you know, you've done about 4 other things apart from what you meant to do. Anyway, that's what happened. Now I'm a big recycle, repurpose, reuse stuff person because that's what I like to do. This is I'm using recycled timber for another job. and I'm repurposing it to a new purpose. But I'm going to even do one better. There's holes here that I'm going to reuse that almost line up perfectly where I want holes. So in this job, oh hello pussycat, I'm even going to reuse the holes that are already in the job. Oh Dave, that's funny. Talk about recycling. So talk about recycling, there you go. The holes aren't, what's the word? There's a word, not proportionally spaced, but they'll do for this job. They don't need to be spot on. So why drill 3 holes when you've only got to drill 1? There you go. Talking about that, about recycling, reusing, I moved the vise. Talking about moving the vise, so I put the little vise over here, and I've used what bolts I've got. Two different bolts. Why not? Use what you've got first instead of a trip. Look, I've got nothing against tripping down to Bunnings, but why would you go to Bunnings to have matching bolts? Some people are a bit like that. I'm not that, there's a word, I'm not that retentive. You put the other word in front of it, but yeah, I've used what bolts I had. It's secure. Nothing against a trip to Bunnings. In fact, there'll probably be at least 2 trips to Bunnings myself this week. One planned, one unplanned. We'll see what happens. Always happens. So there you go. There is a song, I'd love to play it, from the Bushwhackers, about a bloke who's always going to Bunnings. So there, look on it's on YouTube. Look for Bushwhackers Bunnings song. I play that a lot. I like that song. Anyway, back to it, Dave. Stop slouching off. We want to get something achieved today. One job, Dave. One job at a time. Talk about recycling and things going wrong. This is another trap for young players. You have to be careful of this, folks. I'm doing a couple of more rebates, doing this job properly, doing some infills for the bolts, put this together, and because I'm using recycling material, there's an old piece of screw or nail in this timber. That's one thing. So yeah, as soon as the old Forstner bit started to grab in that, I thought, oh, better check this out. So you've got to be careful. Don't just go instantly ripping with saws and bits and pieces and stuff. Have a bit of a sticky beak. Look at that. Don't know what it is, but there's an old piece of metal poking out there. So yeah, that changes things a bit. Working on the fly. Back to it, Dave. Back to it. This is going to be a very interesting video. I'm going to edit all this up. I can understand why these people say that doing YouTube videos is hard work. This stopping and filming and stopping and filming and stopping and filming as you go, and gee, it really does. It's like there's a big difference between going, right, this is what I'm going to do, this is my plan, whack it up, there's the finished job, and to do a film as you go type video. Like, it takes it out of you. It does. Yeah. Anyway, that's this bit so far. I'll talk to you later. Again, probably be a lot of talking to you later. I've got to try and get my unique technique down. There's going to be a lot of talk to you later in this video because I think I'm doing a Friday video where it's just one continuous shot and this is edited. Back at you. Well, how easy are those spanners to find with a bit of light green on them? That makes life a lot easier. You don't look in the bag and go, oh, I've lost it. It'll be easier to find. Now, in no way do I want this channel to you to think that I'm some expert. I don't want people to go, oh, look at what I've done. Isn't that amazing? No, that's not the image I'm trying to put across. What I try to present is I've had a crack at this. This is what I've done. Why don't you have a crack at it yourself? You never know what you can do till you can try. Because there are some monumental stuff-ups that go on, and I will show you them. I was using the little router again, once you've got this tool handy to do, doing a fancy nice rebating on there, and look, I've stuffed my measurements severely. Look at that big gap there, filling it with glue. Got to let my glue go off for a bit. I've got to go off and do some other things, but that's where we're up to on this thing. Yeah, more details soon. Now, people are a bit strange because there's going to be a few videos about setting the workshop up and doing awesome stuff because I've got some jobs I'm going to do, but I'm a bit strange, a bit weird. I want to get all my infrastructure and my tools and my workshop set up first before I move on to the jobs. Okay, so there is some stuff coming and you'll see hints and pieces about it in the next couple of videos, but I want to get all the infrastructure in place for the jobs that are coming up. I know that's strange. Oh, those cicadas outside are doing my head in. How about this? The lime green work boots. Looking a bit shabby, but there you go, lime green work boots. Because we all know the best tools in the world are lime green. This is what I've been working on for the last couple of days. Well, I'll tell you, it's a little belt sander. Been converting the Azzotto file sander handheld into something that's practical. I do have over on the wall of Ryobi, I do have a Ryobi 18 volt portable belt file, what they call them, a sander file. So people are going, oh, why'd you do this? This A, because it's more practical. Like I keep saying, if there is a tool that I use a lot and do well with it, I often buy the Ryobi 18 volt version of it. This was a case of I had the file sander, the Azzotto file sander first. Used it a lot, found it very practical, the 240 volt one. Somebody said, what would you really like if we're going to get you a power tool? I said, look, it would be really handy to have the 18 volt Ryobi lime green file sander. Wacky do, I was presented one. So there we go. Oh, I like it when people give me toys or ask what toys I'd like. Anyway, so why not convert the old one into something also practical? So this is what we've done. We've converted it into a bench bake fine detail sander. Now, how does it work, Dave? It sure does. A bit noisy, the yellows, the toppers. It's also speed adjustable. I've got a fine belt on it because I've got a job I'm going to be doing with that very soon. I'm not going to run it too much, or I'm not going to show you sanding stuff because the paint's still a bit sticky. But there you go. As we all know, best power tools are lime green, so it's got to be painted lime green. Yeah. So I'll get down to your hair. For now, we've got more projects coming very soon we'll talk about. Talk to you later. Now, if you want plans, somebody's going to say, oh, have you got plans for that? No. I just whipped that up out of my head, just like Imagineered it. Yeah, yep, that'll work. Built some of it on the fly, had an idea in my head what I wanted to do, built the rest on the fly. Yeah. Even got the dust collector and the lot. Anyway, back to work. Next job. Talk to you later. This is one of these, you may not want to know this segment, but yeah, I'm going to tell you something, tell you a story. As you've probably seen, a lot of Ryobi stuff comes in these little Ryobi bags these days. The little router came in a bag like this. This is a one the drill set comes in. Nice bag, nice drill. Comes in that, and you have a little carry bag, store your drill in and your batteries and bits and pieces. Nifty idea. This is how Ryobi used to do it in the old days. The old plastic blow mould bag. Remember these? This is one of Dad's. At some stage the lockers failed that, but it's been Dad modified. Fantastic idea. Open it up. Still got Dad's drill in it. That's not the original battery that came with this. This is an older battery. This is an earlier Ryobi 18 battery. I did have the batteries and chargers for these drills. Might have dumped them in a mad case, but I probably should have kept one for display purposes. But that is a Ryobi the original 18 volt Ryobi drill. I showed you one of the current ones just then. The battery still fits, the 18 volt battery in the old the current 18 volt battery fits in this drill. I've got two of them, of the old Ryobis that I use quite a bit. That battery is well and truly stuffed. I did have the chargers to suit those batteries, but they're stuffed. But if you find the old Ryobi 18 volt stuff, grab them cheap because your batteries still go in. Anyway, so talking about blow mould cases, they were around for quite a few years. But before then, this is how power tools came. You reckon those cases that Ryobi give you a snazzy? Have a look at this, if I can open it. I've had this particular tool for near on, must be 30 years. I've used it once or twice. Unfortunately, it's not a Ryobi. It's not an Isotto. This is a GMC electric plane in a lovely presentation box. This is how power tools used to come back in the day. Now, this is a reproduction. This is about 30 years old, I'd guess. It was done as a presentation, and I can't remember what it was, for sales figures or something or other, or celebrating something, but GMC did these up and gave them off to certain as gifts, and I was gifted this one. And yeah, it's a lovely GMC plane in a presentation box, all the bits and pieces and the tools there. It's a bit dusty. I have taken this one out and used it, I think once or twice, but there you go. It's got my name engraved on it. Something that was done when it presented it, and yeah, beautiful piece. But that's how power tools used to be back in the day. And back in the day, in this case, this one's about 30 years old, but it's probably 60 years old, even older. Not really, but that's an old pity I don't have an old Ryobi case at this age. Actually, I don't think Ryobi. Anyway, that's all like a quick history lesson. Whether you like it or not, I'll get out of your hair and I'll move back to another project. There's a big hint in this segment about what the next project is, or one of them. Catch up. Hello folks, how you going? I was just getting down to Bunnings, grab a few things. As you can see, the workshop is a mess. There is stuff everywhere. We do need to get in and get a good tidy up. But unfortunately, if you watch one of my videos, my dust collection system, I moved that down into the machinery shop. So it's not here. So I've been down to Bunnings, grabbed a few things. This is a bit like an episode of Scrapyard Challenge. You know the old Scrapyard Wall Show? Well, here's what I've got. I've got a Isotto wet and dry vac. I've got a bucket, some assorted hardwares. I have this hose, which is a swimming pool vacuum hose. If you're looking for vacuum hose, this is the cheapest way to get it. This is about $9–10 from Bunnings. Cheap as 8 metre long hose for your vacuum cleaner. It's actually designed for swimming pools. If you're looking for a hose for your workshop vac and you don't want to pay big money, go with that. And I've got this conglomeration of 3D prints that I've put together. And by the end of the day, or by the end of this video, hopefully, I've got something that'll help me clean up the workshop. So anyway, I'm going to get building. The other rule is I've got to use what I've got in the shop, no more trips to Bunnings. So I'm only allowed to use what I've got here on hand. And I've got to come up with some way, well, I've got a design in my head. Let's see if it works. Got to come up with an idea to clean up all this, dare I say, Dave created a disaster around the place. Anyway, I'm going to get shedding. I'll talk to you soon. See what I can. Well, here is progress so far. Now remember, part of this challenge was I was going to use as much as possible material that I have in the shed and on hand, and I have, except I'm going to probably break the rule and go for a trip to Bunnings. I'm about to have some lunch, and I've broke one of the 3D printed connections. Dave did a stave stuff up and broke it. So there we are so far. We're about an hour and a half, 2 hours into what I've been doing in my testing and engineering. I'm now delayed by 3D printers, and I am going to have to go to Bunnings, even though I am going to breach the rule, because I've suddenly realised doing this that having a second bucket would be handy. If this bucket actually sat inside a bucket and I glued the first bucket down on the trolley, and yeah, and then put the bucket inside the bucket, that'd be a perfect way of doing it, because I'm trying to do this as neat and easy engineering as possible, and using stuff that people would have on hand, nothing really fancy. The only tools I've used so far is a drill. I have used the big metal cut-off saw, but you could do that with a hand saw, a hacksaw, or a sawzall, like the reciprocating saw. I did use my multi-tool to cut the timber, and I've used the drill. I've used the sander to do edges, but you could sand that by hand. Nothing that you couldn't do with basic tools. And don't ask me for a set of guides unless you really want a how-to. I can probably whip up a set of plans. Now, I am cheating in somewhat. I am 3D printing some components, but that's because I've already got 3D printers on hand and doing that. But none of the parts I'm making you couldn't make yourself out of something else, out of timber or wood. I'm just doing it because I've got access to the bits. But there we are so far. Dave's Magic mini shop vac. I'll do some more explanation about cyclone vacs and all in this video. Stay tuned. We're not over yet. There is a few design stuff up. I'm not really happy about the way this tube works, but I really can't do anything about it. That is the tube that came with the vacuum cleaner, and I've shortened it. But yeah, anyway, working with what we have, which is the fun of it. I'll get back to you soon. G'day folks, video editor Dave here. I'm just going to put in some pictures of some large industrial vortex type vacuum units like we're trying to build. So you can have a look at that. But hang around folks, because it's all going to go severely wrong. I promise you, there's a big disaster ahead. You're going to enjoy that part. So this is the part I reprinted. That's the one I broke, and the new one. This is the air inlet fitting that goes in the vacuum hose into the top of the vortex. I printed one a couple of days ago. I've just reprinted it. I don't think that's cheating. Let me know if you think this is cheating part of the brief that I reprinted apart. I could have just done it and not told you I broke it. But let me know if you think that's cheating or not in the one-day challenge. I haven't left the premises. I haven't done anything else. I've just remade a part. This is a part that would have come with the vortex. If you buy a vortex, this part would be fitted. I'm making my own vortex, so I suppose, yeah, I accept that's fine. You let me know. Anyway, I have to go and glue this in a hose, and we're almost at the test stage. Talk you through what we've done. Well, I've got my suction hose mounted. This beast is ready for its maiden flight. We're about to give it a test. I've got it plugged in. I have not fired any of this system up. Now, a couple of caveats. Ideally, this is only for DIY cleanup to keep your workshop neat. It's not something that's designed to be in a 24/7 or 7-day-a-week workshop. It's just a little gadget for cleaning up a weekend type do-it-yourself workshop facility. It's not HEPA filter rated. Okay, I'm using out of this end of the shop because we don't really do stuff I need a HEPA rated filter. My other shop unit is HEPA rated filtered. It's got 2 filters in it. It will do P3 particles. It's got certified filters on it. But to assemble something like that, you are looking at big money, where this unit has cost me under 100. The vacuum was about 50. The bucket was about, whatever it is, $5. The hoses cost me probably about 11, and the 3D printing already had. The vortex, if you buy them online, probably about $25, $30. You probably get it from Amazon and eBay. We're ready for the first flight. It's not pretty. It's very industrial looking, but it'll do what I want to do. If you've got any questions. Now this unit I plan to just mount in the corner of my shop, and it's pretty much going to stay there. It's not going to be poured or moved around, but you could move this one around. To protect my hose and my fittings, I've put a couple of cable ties on. Now, ideally, I would vent the exhaust pipe outside, and I'm going to do that when I set this up. It'll probably go over near where my diesel heater is, close to that, not too close, so the diesel heater will set on fire. But I will vent it outside because I've got those lovely windows over there. So we're about to flight test. Like I said, I've got those cleats there, but ideally, what I'm going to do is next time at Bunnings, I'll grab another one of these buckets. And I'll show you when I've done that, is double bucket. Okay, this thing hasn't got a name. We should call it a name. Dave's a big sucker or something. So we're ready to go. I'm going to put the power on and let's see what happens. Now, this is this big long, it's massive. It's probably overkill for what I want, but this will reach most parts of my shop. Now, I did cut up the vacuum hose that comes with this unit, and I have then hot glued the sucky end onto my pipe. Get it on the screen, Dave, so people can see. And I shorten the hose because I only want it to go that and that, because I'm really not going to disassemble it and use it as a vacuum cleaner again, which you could. Okay, so without further stuffing around, let's turn on the power. See what happens, Dave. Hell of a noise. Will it suck? Well, that's a bit of a disaster. Yes, it does suck. That whistle is somewhere where the air, we've got a bit of a air problem somewhere. But I've also sucked so much that I've got so much vacuum I've sucked in the bucket. So I am going to, my idea of having a double board bucket, I think that's the way to go, because look at this. Yeah, I've got a good vortex and I've got a good vacuum. Door slams in the wind. But always sucked in my bucket. Anyway, I'm going to do some more sucking some vacuum up because we can. Might as well test it to destruction. That's incredible. Yeah, these are Sotto vacuum cleaners. They do a good job. Should take it back to Bunnings and say, this one sucks. Can I get a replacement? Yeah, well, it does. Well, the question everybody's asking is, before the bucket sucked in on itself, did we collect any dust? Yes. So the system and the idea works. We just got to make a few adjustments and find out what is resonating to make that noise. I believe it's probably something in the tube that is shaking. And I've got a few ideas on how to sort that out, but we can't do much more experimentation until we fix that collection bucket, Dave. That's just bizarre. Okay, so it's, yeah, the double bucket idea I think is the way to go. I'll talk to you later. What a spectacular failure. Ideas sound, trolley looks good, vortex works. Okay, talk to you later. Well, it's now Thursday, so welcome back to the shed. Thursday, I'll probably put a subtitle saying Thursday. Back on the unholy creation, this this moment vacuum cleaner. Okay, been doing some research and some information overnight. Look, in theory and basic practice we work. Although we've got to get a better bucket. I have to go to Bunnings and do a dual bucket like I suggested, or even a triple bucket. Stop our buckets from destroying. That's something we can fix. The pipe situation. For somehow, that annoying howl, I have created some type of unholy electrified, in theory, bagpipes. That resonance that we hear, the howl, is probably due to the suction hose being too long. Yes. This is a pool suction hose. It's designed to go underwater. Sound doesn't travel very well underwater. Virtually doesn't, so you wouldn't hear it. Now, it is an issue that pipes have been known to howl in vacuum lead systems, but it mainly only affects the in-house systems. You know, where houses and motels and some businesses have built-in vacuum cleaners, and they just, yeah, from room to room you plug in your cable and the thing turns on, you suck up, but all the main system is in the house, sort of thing. Well, we've done something like that, but the hose. I'll show you what I mean. We can actually run this unit apart from the bucket. We're still playing with, don't want to destroy a bucket. I'm not going to go to Bunnings till I actually have a reason to go to Bunnings, and there will be in the next couple of days. Expecting a phone call to get some stuff, do another job. Got to go to Bunnings, because one of the brief was I wasn't going to Bunnings just to grab stuff of doing this. But anyway, I have appropriated a hose and done a bit of shed jiggery pokeries to adapt it up to fit to the system. So this is a vacuum cleaner hose off a different unit, but if I turn it on, find the switch, Dave, and hold the camera. It's sucking, it's working, but no howl. And does it pick up the dust? My oath. So everything's not lost, and I don't want to write this hose off, but roughly what we're going to do is chop it in half. see how we go. Now the good thing is even though if I cut this hose up, having access to 3D printers, I can make fittings to recouple things quite easily. Not a problem. So yeah, that's our next thing. Roughly going to cut our suction hose in half on the grounds we can join it back together if we really need to. The other recommendation that I've come across on the internet is when you're doing large volume vacuum products like this or vacuum tasks, ribbed hoses really aren't the best. You should use a solid hose. So yeah, that's not an option at this stage, but we'll see how we go. If we get the unit working properly, we might have to set up a proper ducted vacuum system. For this stage, experimentation. Our next option is to cut the hose down. Don't want to do that, but I shall see what happens. Well, I didn't do a video of what I just did because I didn't want to torture your ears. But what I did was I cut 2 meters off the end of the hose, plugged the machine and tested it. It still made very interesting noises. I then took another 2 meters off the hose. Bit pains me to cut up good working hose, but okay, I can make joiners. I can patch it up if I need to use that hose. So we cut off another 2 meters. It still whistled. There's no use me cutting off another 2 meters because really that defeats the purpose of having the long hose. So the 4 meter hose didn't work, 6 meter hose didn't work, 8 meter hose didn't work, but the short 1.8 meter hose did work. Now I've got some other bits of vacuum cleaners that I'm going to go and grab and have an experiment. I've got an idea that it may not be the hose length, but it may be the hose diameter. Maybe that's something to do. I know. I wasn't great at the actual physics in science in school. I was good with some of the practical chemistry, but when it came to the really heavy math stuff, yeah, no, I just like pass on that. Anyway, more fun experimenting and working things out, apart from that screeching banshee noise. So, let me go and grab a few things, see what I can come up with. Just out of interest in science, I've grabbed the length of hose, and I've plugged it out the back here into the Magic Super powered Ryobi system, and it sings as well. It's got to be that hose that has an interesting rivet. Now it's a different frequency, different vacuum system. I'll give you a quick burst. Don't want to damage your eardrums, loud music and all that alert, but listen to this. It's the hose that is resonating. Who would have thought that? Well, it makes sense, sucking air through. It's not designed to be really a air vacuum hose, it's meant to be a water vacuum hose. Would have thought that would have done the same thing. Interesting science. Yeah, okay. I've got to play with some hoses. Just so nobody goes, oh Dave, you're playing silly buggers, you're doing tricks. Get your finger out of it. I'm going to run this system up without that pipe connected. No singing or dancing. Got to be the hose. That's interesting. There is some logic to that. This is one of those bits where this is a secret. We'll just keep between me and you. We won't tell anybody I did this. I went and pinched the hose off one of the good Kirby's inside. I thought I had a spare Kirby vacuum hose somewhere, but I can't seem to lay my hands on it quickly. I have to go digging through the spare parts. But just to test the theory about that it's the hose, I've got the Kirby hose. I just shoved it in here and turned it on. We're going to do a bit. Don't tell anybody I did this. Shouldn't really do this. But anyway, I might have to get Mr. Bunnings to order me a proper hose. But anyway, let's have a go with the Kirby hose. So the conclusion is system sound, apart from having a bit too much suction. We're going to do a second bucket there using a different, it's the hose. So I'm going to have to probably talk to Mr. Bunnings and see if he can get a hose for me, just a vacuum hose. We'll have to do some research on that. But yeah, there you go. Wow. science and experimentation in the shed. Talk to you later again. Well, okay, let's have a coffee and have a chat and come to a conclusion about the vacuum system. Now, the rationale behind this was building this is I wanted two vacuum systems. I've got one out the back in the dirty workshop, which is a system I put together. It is HEPA rated, it is P-free rated, it's got HEPA filters, it's got P-free filters. It's great for the dirty shop if you're doing stuff because it can suck out really fine metal and wood particles. And down there you can use it if you really wanted to, if you're spray painting with stuff. I wouldn't use it for welding because welding creates hot iron filings into plastic tubing. Yes, if I spent some more money on some better quality fittings down the back, you could get around that. I wanted a second system front here in this area, so I'm not dragging the two around. The other one is a bit heavy to move around, so I wanted to build a better quality that will handle dust and dirt and muck from this area, but it doesn't need to be P-free rated because I can vent and air this room. Now, everything works fine except for my choice of hose. So the engineering stuff up is mine. The people whose advice I followed on the internet is fine. I do have to find a better quality bucket. That, once again, is one of those things you live and learn. So for now, I will just have to swap just the vacuum hose between the two systems. And I might do that for now. And I'll have to source another vacuum hose. Okay, so that's going to be what I'm going to do for now. I will have to make up a fitting so that vacuum hose hits this bucket better. Or I might be able to recycle the one off the white hose. We'll see. But that's the roundup it is. It's once we do a better job on the bucket, and once we get a proper vacuum rated vacuum hose, we're probably going to be okay. Now this top of this bucket, I just put some cleats on it to hold it together. Just grab some bits of wood out of the scrap wood bin, just so the bucket had somewhere to sit, and that was based on the rationale because I was using stuff that I had on hand. I might buy one bucket or even two. So I screw a bucket down to this and then the other buckets go inside to hold it in place. I've just looked on eBay. You can buy these vortex type bins pre-assembled and like that. You're looking about, depending if you want a cheap Chinese one, anywhere from $25 plus freight up to $250. So there. But yeah, the system's good. It works. It does what it does. We just have a few engineering technicalities. So that's it. We'll just start talking about that. Hello, Mr. Jasper Cat. I'm going to finish the coffee. I still haven't done much of me cleaning up, so I'll have to do that, and I'll talk to you later. Hi everybody, it's Friday morning. It's a lovely, cool morning. You'll probably hear the cicadas in the background and the whippersnippers and the lawnmowers. I've got a coffee. I'm in the shed. Plan is today is to try and sort out this disaster in my shop vac build. I think I've got all the engineering ready. I've had to nick down to Bunnings and grab a new supply, fresh supply of buckets. Shout out to Glenn, local Bunnings. Hi mate. I've sourced another vacuum hose. Amazingly, it's off another Kirby. Yeah, I've got Kirby parts hidden around everywhere. I knew I had another vacuum hose somewhere. I just had to go ratting around and found it. I've quickly printed up a 3D adapter. It's nothing fancy, something that it isn't something that anybody without some basic 3D skills couldn't make up. Quickly done in Tinkercad, so it's nothing flash. And yeah, so we're going to assemble it. I've got some ideas. It'll probably either work or it'll be end in disaster, but we need to get a Friday video out around later Savo. So stop banging your gums and get into it, Dave. Now I do have on my list to do, my to-do list, my list of to-do-y things, you know, my agenda, whatever you want to call it, to improve the lighting in this area of the shed to make it easier to video. But I've just screwed with washers the bucket down to the top of the trolley. Very lucky that the Ryobi drill just fits in. So there we go. Done that. Next thing, well, you'll have to keep watching and find out. I was going to use one of the new buckets, but I've decided to patch up the old bucket and give it a reprieve. Now here's what I've done. The old builder's strapping. Look, if you hang around with me in the shed, it gets used for so many jobs. In fact, years ago I used to loosely work with a group called Farm Boy Engineering. And we, this stuff, well, one of the guys named this stuff instant bracket. If you needed to get two things together and hold it together in a hurry, the old builder's strap was just used for so many things. Ask your local hardware store if you want some. It is just handy. Now this has been cut into place. I just use the old bolt cutters, cutting the strips, put it inside, riveted on with the old blind rivet or pot rivet. Now somebody's going to go, oh, is that going to be strong enough to stop the bucket imploding on itself? Well, I hope so. We will find out. And if this doesn't work, if rivets and metal bracing doesn't stop the bucket from imploding, I'm never flying on a pressurised aircraft ever again. Think of that. Airbus. You know, those big planes, those A360s and Jumbo 747s, they're riveted together. Very much the same as I've riveted this bucket together. Anyway, we're at the assembly stage. I'm going to put things together. This thing is either going to fly or it's going to die spectacularly. We'll find out. And like they say, just remember, this is a funny story. There's more aircraft at the bottom of the ocean than there are submarines in the sky. Oh, look, here's the peanut crowd come to give commentary. Hello, Jasper Cat. He normally comes to tell me that I'm doing something wrong or something. Anyway, stop banging your gums, assemble the beast, and let's take it for its maiden flight. Well, it's time to give this thing a blast. Now, unfortunately, there's no big piles of sawdust like that we had earlier in the week because I clean them all up when we suck the thing to bits. But we've got a few bits and pieces we will suck up. Now, if you see white powder everywhere, no, I don't have some terrible coke habit in the shed. It's baking soda from the old super glue and baking soda trick. If you don't know that trick, Google it on YouTube. Yeah, baking soda and super glue and good bonding filler agent. Anyway, before I go, happy long weekend. Happy Australia Day for all those people who celebrate Australia Day. Once again, shout out to Glenn at Bunnings. Hello, mate. Shout out to Arnie Mari down there at Brooklyn. She's not doing very well. Hopefully somebody will send this video down to her and I'll post a link. Anyway, hi Arnie Mari. Hope you're doing okay, even though you're unwell. So it's time to, suck up this shit. Now, don't forget, like and subscribe. Share this video. If you've got any questions, ask them. Quite happy to discuss anything. But anyway, till next week. Goodbye from Dave in the Shed. Next week, come back because next week it's going to be really bizarre. I'm going to set some fire to shit. No, not shit, but stuff. Yes, we're going to be setting fire to stuff. It'll either make great video or it'll make fantastic video when you see the fire brigade turn up and burn everything to bits. Anyway, let's go. Let's, I was going to say let's suck on. But anyway. Woohoo! The thing's sucking and blocking up and it's not imploding. Okay, sucking up all those screws.